Hi, everybody. This is Chris Cyr, your partner in retirement, your partner for life. Today, we're talking about the 6 things that you can do that will help you have happiness and contentment in your retirement. A-team, Austin, Andrea, how are you guys doing today?
Good.
Great.
Yeah, this is going to be a great show. We're going to go through those 6 things. We're going to take turns going through those 6 things. It's going to be quick. And after we go through those 6 things, we're going to talk to Michael Kay, a certified life coach. He specializes only in working with those in retirement, helping them get past that hurdle that is retirement. He has a system called the Chapter X system. This guy is great. He is a former financial planner, and he now does this for people in their retirement, and he does it for nothing. Nothing. He's a person who is truly giving back, and our conversation that was recorded yesterday is fantastic. We'll play that recording after we get done with our 6 things. I would like to get right on it and move to Austin because, Austin, you're a young man. It looks like the number one thing on our list you obviously do already. What is it?
It is exercise and dieting, which hopefully maybe you've done a little bit before you've gotten to retirement, but now that you have a lot more free time.
You have no excuse now.
There's no excuse to skip, yeah.
You have all this time.
And it doesn't have to be something strenuous. You don't have to go to the gym every day and get a huge pump in. You know, maybe you can just go for a walk, a bike ride. Typically, you shoot for about 30 minutes a day.
30 minutes a day. That's something maybe you and I don't do.
Definitely not.
But when we retire, we will.
Yeah. I mean, I know I do better when I'm like on vacation somewhere nice. I get out and walk, so maybe that'll help me when I'm
you'll have more
retired.
time. I would have to say, honestly, we're going to go through 5 more things. The 5 things I think are increasingly important, but this is the one that most retirees miss. I have to say, honestly, we have, I think, 1,000 families that are coming in, something like this. Honestly, my personal assessment is that the one biggest void in most of our clients, they are not getting exercise. It could be walking, something that gets the heart rate elevated for 30 minutes a day. It could be anything. It's very important. Andrea, what's number 2?
Social interactions, number 2. I think most people don't miss working. They don't miss going to work, but they miss the people there, whether it's the coworkers or their patients or their clients or whatever, just missing talking to people and interacting with others. And that can also be having a pet, which for me would be the number one thing I would have would be.
Says the dog lover.
Yeah. And that helps with exercise too, going out for a walk with your dog.
Taking a walk with the dog, yeah.
Yeah.
This is important because we are spending time together. We are spending 8, 10 hours a day together to Brooke's chagrin. But I'm talking to you retirees. You are not working anymore. That social interaction, even if you are an introvert, is the research shows that you have to work with people. You have to interact with people. This is critical in retirement. You have to force yourself to do that. It's very important. You cannot sit in a room by yourself all day long and be happy. It's virtually impossible. Number 3 kind of relates to work and goes a little step further. While we just said you need to extend and continue to have social interaction, what you need to do, I'm talking to you proud men out there who had a successful 30-year career. Do not talk about your work when you retire. Don't dwell on your work. There are 2 types of retirees. I'll give you an example of both. Example number 1 is the person who despised his career, didn't like his boss, didn't necessarily like his coworkers. He didn't like the decisions that were made at his company. They made dumb decisions, whatever. Spending time dwelling on the negative 30-year career you had, talking to your coworkers and sitting there for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, bitching about what your career was and how terrible it was, doesn't help you in retirement. The other type of person is my friend, I'll call him Jim. Jim had an extremely successful career, owned his own business. Let's say he sold widgets, okay? Every time I'm with Jim, he insists, because he loved his job, okay? He's the opposite of person number 1. He loved his job. He loved it so much that every time he meets somebody in retirement, he wants to talk about their widget. Hey, do you own a widget? What kind of widget it is? Do you have this feature on a widget? Do you want to talk? I want to tell you how good I was at selling widgets. Let me tell you about the business. Nobody cares what you did. Nobody wants to talk about their widget. Don't dwell on work in retirement. Whether you despised your job or you loved it, take that job and put it over here. Wear it as a badge of pride, but don't walk into retirement and talk for your job for 30 years. Nobody wants to hear about it, and it's not healthy for you. What's number 4?
Number 4, as a guideline, you should find 3 things that give you a purpose in life, whether that's traveling, spending time with friends or family, gardening, maybe it's a type of sport, something that keeps
Anything.
you busy. Yeah.
Andrea, what do I say to every single new client that goes through the AIM retirement system?
Well, first of all, you tell them not to sit and watch Netflix as their hobby.
And drink bourbon.
Yeah.
That is not a successful retirement. But I tell them they have to have how many things to give them?
At least 3.
3. There was a study that was that came out years ago. I actually looked for that study for this podcast, but I can just picture myself, and I'm thinking of a person very recently that came into our office. We went through the entire 3 steps of the AIM retirement system. And the question that we always ask, one of the many questions, is what are the 3 things that you're going to do in retirement that give you purpose? And I feel sorry for this person because when I asked this person that question, there was just a blank stare. This person was retiring, A, because they could afford to, B, because they felt it was time. Maybe they were a little tired of their job. But that transition cannot take place unless you know, I'm going to volunteer my time. I'm going to spend 4 days a week babysitting my kids. I'm going to travel 4 times a year. I'm going to play, what'd you say earlier?
Pickleball. That's a big
I'm going
one.
to play pickleball on Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. Having purpose in your life, even a part-time job is a purpose in your life.
Yeah.
Having that purpose is important. What's the next one, Miss Brandon?
That leads into mine. Having a routine and purpose go together. And I feel like during COVID, we all lost that routine, that purpose, and it kind of drove us all crazy. So I think getting up at the same time, going to bed at the same time, and kind of having a routine like you did before is what you need to do.
Retirement, this new lease on life. No longer do I have to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning. No longer do I have to have that meeting with my boss at 10 o'clock. No longer do I have to go pick up the dry cleaning at 5 o'clock. No longer do I. That routine is important. You are retired now. You still need that routine.
Yeah.
Make sure every week, the best thing to do for retirees that I found when I talk to my retirees, set up a schedule for the week. Plan your week ahead. Know in your mind, if somebody says, what are you doing on Wednesday at 2 o'clock? You know the answer. The answer can be, I'm doing nothing at that time. But knowing what your routine is for the week is very important. Number 6, I save the best for last. Number 6 is very simply thinking about a word, velocity. Velocity in your life accelerates the older and older you get. We all know this. Okay? And as a retiree, it's very easy to look at your phone and get lost in it. And all of a sudden, it's been an hour that you've been on your phone. And then you're watching Netflix, and all of a sudden, it's been 3 hours and you've been watching Netflix. All of a sudden, you look up, and it's been 2 years into your retirement. Where did the time go? All of a sudden, your grandkids are now going to high school. Where did the time go? Taking in every single moment in your retirement. Living with intentional purpose. Taking in all the things that are around you and living with a purpose and really enjoying every moment. I think here's a good trick that you don't have to do. It's a little bit deep, and I know Brooke's rolling her eyes right now because this is supposed to be an entertaining podcast. But here's a trick, and I challenge all of my retirees to do this, or anyone who's listening to this show right now. For the next week, I want you to, in the back of your mind, in any conversation you're having, think to yourself, this person, I'm looking in his or her eyes. I'm talking to them and they are talking back to me. What if this was the last time I ever get to see this person? That helps you take in the moment. That helps you really have an intentional conversation. And it just makes for such a more happy and content life. Taking in the moment. That's the thing that I think is the most important thing. Really enjoying your retirement. Whether it's 20 years or 30 years, that's where the key to retirement is, and happiness. You've got all this money. You've done a good job. You have a level 5 advisor. You trust them. You know you're going to be okay financially. Now, your real goal, the only thing on your to-do list is give yourself a happy retirement. Let's summarize. Austin said exercise and diet. And he also told us have 3 things that give you purpose in your life. Andrea told us social interaction is important, and it could be a
Dog.
It could be a pet, says the dog lover.
Yeah.
By the way, little secret, Andrea told me that she talks to her dog sometimes.
I do all the time.
The dog whisperer. The other thing you told us is have a routine.
Yeah.
I said, move on from work. Whether you hated your job or you loved your job, just don't dwell on it. And most importantly, give yourself a chance to have a life of intentional purpose. Enjoy every single moment and just don't let it go by. Have a great conversation with everybody you talk to. Now let's move on to the Michael K. interview. But before we do, think about what we just did. If you're watching this show, if you're listening to this show, we gave you something for free. We tried to make it of value. You didn't have to pay anything for it, and hopefully it didn't take too much of your time. If you found any value in this, please like, subscribe. It helps us get our message out to others who are just like you, nearing retirement or in retirement. Austin, what's the best way they can do that?
If you're listening on our podcast platform, give us a 5-star review. If you're listening on YouTube, hit the red subscribe button and leave us a like.
That's right, Andrea. And our goal is to get 1 million subscribers on YouTube. And Brooke, you probably don't know how many subscribers we have.
I do. I just looked today. We're up at 270.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
I mean, we have a long way to go. But again, if you're watching on YouTube, all you have to do is subscribe to our channel and help us.